Oh yeah, I know. Sup everyone, Cornwall and Philip are back at Night in the Woods.
Good evening.
Gonna continue where we left off, which was in the middle of...
reading some microfiche.
Basically, did not quite save us exactly where we were.
Aww.
I thought this might happen. So we're just gonna cram through this, and we're just gonna go the fuck right there to the microfiche.
Yeah, I thought it did bring you right back there. But...
I thought this might be the case, where it just has limited save functions, you know?
Which is sad.
Ah shit, and with B that means that we gotta go slow.
Yeah.
Because B's all about going slow and never jumping.
I know.
Always smoking, even in a public place.
Yeah. You'd
Like,
think
seriously,
you'd know better,
girl.
but...
It's going up. Going up. We gotta get back to that microfiche. Now, this is why I normally try and save in the middle of, like, sleeping. But, you know.
It's true, but there's so much of that microfiche.
There was so much. I didn't know, guys. I didn't know. This is the problem with, like, a mostly blind playthrough.
And even with me here, I forgot that was today.
Philippa forgot about it. Let's blame her.
Yep. Though I won't apologize for the microfiche itself.
Well, no. That's not something to be apologized for, or I wouldn't have bothered. I'd have just skipped through it.
Yes. Microfiche is fun. I found, like, the day of my birth and a few other important records in the microfiche files at my library.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did the papers announce the coming of your...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing so spectacular as, like, a giant earthquake happened on the day that I was born.
Nothing actually happened, so let's report on this baby.
No, it was actually something else I was specifically looking for in that paper, and I found it.
Okay, now we can go back to stuff. Oh no, we gotta do more talking.
Yep. We can address how we might, you know, examine this entire sheet of microfiche.
I mean, I guess we could do it methodically.
Oh, we could, but, you know...
I guess let's do it that way.
Fine one.
Bonk, here's a corner. Pie piracy! Okay, I'm immediately rewarded. Oh yeah, you get to do a sound check while we're here.
I will show you again that it is working.
Okay, cool, sweet.
There
Pie
you go.
piracy! Dear citizens, please make note to keep your pies safe during the pleasant weather we're experiencing. Several ladies have reported pies from their kitchens disappearing at alarming rates. Even worse, the picky culprit is leaving behind only the rhubarb pies.
Well, he's right to do so.
I mean, that shit's poisonous. Until this criminal is caught or the bad weather returns, we remind our housewives to make use of their pie safes indoors. I'm sorry, pie safes?
Don't look at me.
Or stick to rhubarb.
Never
Like, one
stick
must
to
wonder
rhubarb.
how long ago this happened, and whether May was involved. The Stanley T. Possum statue, known by residents as Posse, is finally slated for demolition.
Aw.
Posse closed in 1967, but Richard Coulson, son of Samuel, that's gonna mean something to me, had hopes of refurbishing the statue for new generations. Posse stood silent for close to 60 years, witnessing... Okay, that isn't a comment, it's just a weird G. Witnessing the beginnings of the demise of the railroad, mines and the coke works that ushered in its existence. Teens and other vandals broke into Posse over the years, and climbing up through Posse became a rite of passage for many young people in the area. Residents have been torn over what to do with the beloved but derelict structure for over the years, but 3 years ago pressure began mounting to have it torn down. A storm knocked Posse off Posse's ear, and the next year, Ralph Jenkins fell from the staircase and broke both legs. Samantha Coulson Glick, daughter of Richard, finally agreed it was time for Posse to go. The demolition will begin at 12 p.m. on Saturday, and viewing areas will be set up at a safe distance.
Wow.
I'll admit, I probably would have liked to see that, yeah. Progress Springs in Possum Springs. Randolph Stafford, owner of Bell's Hole Mine Works. Okay, not gonna touch that one. Has partnered with Samuel Coulson. Oh, there's that guy again.
You're not
owner
gonna
of
touch his
Coulson
hole?
Coke Works. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna touch his Bell's Hole. Daniel Glick. Oh, okay, so guy that, like, either got married to his daughter or, like, was related to someone married to his daughter?
Either that or she married into the family.
No, because
Oh, I
it's
said
Samuel
daughter.
Coulson. So, like, it's like, what's it, Samantha Coulson Glick? Yeah, so, married the
Brother?
Glicks.
Brother, maybe? Or another relative thereof?
I'm saying that she's Coulson Glick. She was Coulson and she married into the Glicks.
Okay.
You understand how that works?
No.
Okay,
Married
Philippa doesn't
names-
understand old naming conventions. Fortunately,
That's
they're
'cause
dying.
They're dead.
So, don't sweat it, folks. I'm sure you're all smart enough to get it. Where was I? Railroad magnate and prominent business owner Harrison Schreigeist to make some stunning improvements for uptown. The four men desire to build a model of the progressive living. Okay, either that progressive shouldn't have a big capital P, or the L should. Otherwise, it's just confusing. They ought to fire that probably long dead typist. Living right
Probably
here
a
in
type
Possum
setter,
Springs.
if it's as old as I think it is.
The old miners' double houses, okay, on Elm Street will be torn down and replaced with spacious single homes. A new elementary school will be opened nearby, along with a new state-of-the-art recreation center, courtesy of Arnold Applebaum. Isn't that the guy with the creep statue?
The creep statue
creep
outside
statue
people's
guy.
P's window.
See, we're learning our history, folks. This, in addition to the improvements Randolph Stafford promised to the previously striking miners. So this was all just to appease miners who were like, you guys are fucks, and he's like, well, what's the cheapest way I can fix this? There's been another sighting of the albino groundhog from a very reliable source this time. Edgar Stutter reports that he saw the pure white beast digging near Shade Gap. Mr. Stutter has declined to give any more of the exact location and implores his fellow hunters to admire this anomaly from afar and leave him to his business. We could not agree more with this upstanding citizen and remind townsfolk that if you are interested in seeing an albino creature, to stop by Suddy's barbershop for a peek at an albino raccoon. We're certain this will assist your mind in completing the search for the groundhog. Okay.
Well, if people don't know what the albino looks like, then that might help.
Just stand and stare at the albino, folks.
That's
they
what
don't
they're
have
for.
feelings. Underground gases afflict many. In this unnecessary surgery land, searing gas pain land. The houses on Larch Street have been evacuated after the discovery of gas buildup in the basements was found to have led to hallucinations in scattered members of the households. For the past several weeks, residents have been complaining of family members who began hearing voices or seeing things that were not there. One older woman was found having an animated discussion with an empty chair. When pressed, she calmly explained that she was talking to her sister who had passed away some 50 years ago. 2 nights ago, the son of Carson Zimmer ran out of the house and leapt into Cooper's Pond a 1 mile up the road. Seriously, someone needs to dig up that editor and fire him.
Out of a cannon into the sun.
Have it be like the zombie Pope trials, only for this editor. Moments before this, the child had been reading for bed and, according to another sibling, became increasingly agitated. The last words he uttered were about some sort of song before he dashed out of the house and into the night where his watery grave awaited him. Oh, he died. Shit.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's less funny now. This last event persuaded residents to request help from officials to see if this is related to St. Levin's lantern, a phenomenon where exposure to specific underground gases leads certain victims to experience waking dreams, auditory hallucinations, and the sense of unseen presences. Preliminary tests indicate that gas is present in the homes, and mining officials are moving the residents until more tests can be completed. Samuel Coulson, here we go. Here's this guy again, although I believe he was spelt differently before. No, the same. I just put an O in there mentally. Samuel Coulson has purchased 10 acres of land on the outskirts of Possum Springs. When we inquired as to what Mr. Coulson would use the land for, he would only remark that what was coming here would both delight young and old for years to come. We are anxious to be delighted. Local ghost, oh there we go, local ghost Little Joe added again. As the school children are quick to inform you, Possum Springs has at least one resident who won't show up on any census survey. Little Joe, reportedly the ghost of Joe Shade, a miner who died in mysterious circumstances some decades ago, is a favourite spook story of the whimsical and weird members of our community. His most recent activities seem to involve getting up out of his coffin in the old section of Possum Spring Cemetery and strolling around, unnerving visitors to the largest graveyard in in Deep Hollow County. I keep wanting to say country because I don't know if anywhere outside of England and America have counties. So it's not a word I normally run into.
Mm-hmm.
His grave...
County fair.
Yeah, 2 towns over. His grave has become a destination for unruly and often destructive yokel local youths.
God damn those yokel youths.
They're in Possum Springs, so... And as such, Possum Springs City Council is considering erecting an iron gate to protect the historical tombstones that fill the small hollow where Joe Shade lies buried. Police have also stepped up patrols in the area, so be warned, thrill seekers. You may not see a ghost, but you may see a fine for trespassing.
Oh yes, walls, those always work.
They always work. Okay, that's the pie piracy. So here we are on the strike. A strike at Stafford Mine has been called. The idea first arose after the memorial for the 1888 explosion victims. Miners gathered in the home of Arthur Borowski, there you go, to continue the memorial for their to their friends. They also began recounting all the promises the bosses had reneged on this past year. That sounds like bosses, including basic safety measures to avoid another explosion. You don't need your safety measures to mine coke.
God damn it. We should be slightly more respectful for this. We had a mining accident a few decades ago in New Zealand. They're only just opening up the mine to recover the bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A group of 20 miners entered the mines to begin the strike, and 30 more joined them before morning. All work has been stopped at the mine, and the miners are now striking in 8-hour shifts. Their wives and children have begun to bring food and water to the men. The bosses have stated that the mines are safer than they were a year ago, and that there is no need to act in this manner. Of course they'll say that.
Yep.
Let's see. So, got anything else along this line? No, we can go back down. We'll go to... The Stanley T. Possum statue has officially opened to the public, and we have to say we are smitten. For 2 cents, one can enter Stanley and spend quite a lovely time. Yeah, I think I've already read this one out. I read it before I realized how fucking long this is going to take.
Right.
Tiffany Glass, yeah. So this is before it's funny, we just read the one about the statue having to be shut down because it was a pile of garbage that nobody cared about anymore. And this is the one where they're like, oh yeah, it's going to be great forever.
Yep, no possible way that could go wrong.
No possible way. New Old store in Townie Centre. I like how Old doesn't have an E, but Town Centre has 2.
The wrong kind.
The Old Pickaxe hardware store is set to have its grand opening on this Saturday. We have received a sneak peek of the store yesterday, and our town will benefit greatly from this new addition. Roy Burge is bringing 25 years of building experience into this new venture and has stocked the shelves with all the nuts, bolts, and nails you would need for any project, plus the latest in tools. Stop by to see the latest trends and everything from handsaws to hammers. Best of luck, Mr. Burge. Did he pay for this article?
Yes.
Tragedy at Stafford Mine. An explosion occurred at 6:20 a.m. at Stafford Mine. All workers ceased while men attempt to rescue any survivors. That's the explosion they were talking about the memorial for before.
Yep.
All workers ceased, blah blah blah. So far, 3 men have been pulled out alive, along with 20 dead. The explosion occurred 10 miles deep. Actually, I think I read this one too. I think I did. Strike lumbers on. The strike is now on its 30th day with no end in sight. The bosses have refused to meet with the miners, saying their demands are too fantastical.
Yep.
They were right
safety.
to put quotation marks on there.
Yep.
The miners claim they're only asking the bosses to adhere to safety standards that are already the law. The National Guard was called in after last week's scuffle, and the Coulson Cokeworks Union has joined the cause, which has caused an uptick in the national press arriving at the site. The women's camp has expanded its services from serving meals to beating any non-union miner from entering the mines. So far, they have been successful on both benches.
So, anti-union busters.
Spectral happenings at
Just
Possum
be careful
Jump.
about the reading all the ghost ones, because I don't know if it kicks you out once you find them all.
Well, I've only read one so far. 2 local sweethearts were startled this past Sunday night as they hiked along the wooded overlook known as Possum Jump. According to the Lovebirds, at approximately 11:45 p.m., a figure appeared to walk from the edge of the cliff out into the open air and then disappeared. Forestry workers the next morning were unable to locate any evidence of anyone having leapt from the great height, leaving the exact nature of what the two saw a mystery. A decent hike up into the State Forest Hills, Possum Jump is famous for its beautiful view of the Echo Reservoir. It also holds historical importance as it hosts the lonely graves of several persons involved in the Possum Massacre. Now,
I saw a
we're
thing
going to
about
get some Possum Massacre right here. That leads us quite nicely onto Possum Massacre. Excuse me, folks. Severe violence broke out at the Stafford mine today. The bosses arrived to attempt to renew talks and were taunted by some of the children present. Rocks were thrown and the National Guard and strikebreakers opened fire on the crowd. Oh, that's a bad look.
Yep.
After a few minutes, the smoke cleared and the gory scene revealed. 9 miners are dead with a dozen more injured. A young brother and sister were shot dead as they were delivering a package of food to their father and uncle, who was on strike below when the shooting broke out. A photograph of the two children, aged 7 and 9, who were shot in cold blood, has circulated far outside our little county. The heinous act led to a personal visit from the governor to the strike site to meet with the strikers. Independent inspectors were also brought in and talks finally began. 45 days since the start of the strike. The bosses have agreed to comply to the current safety standards and to honour the demands of the miners. And all it took was a massacre.
For them to agree to follow the law.
Yeah. Events. The last trolley will make its run on September 4th. Bernie Goss, the longest employee with 25 years as an operator, will pick up passengers starting at the Market Street Tunnel entrance and will end at the trolley garage where light refreshments will be served and a speech will be given by the Congressman Archibald Reed. Twin Club will be meeting at Stag's on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. This month's craft will be knitted hats for the soldiers along with a potluck. All mothers of twins of any age are welcome. Okay. So let's see, we've got that, we've seen this. Sound off, opinion line. Oh great, editorials. We'd like to remind the men of our town, please refrain from spitting on the sidewalk. This unsanitary habit is unseemly and beneath you.
It
Probably
would be
true,
beneath you
and
after you spat it.
depending on how long ago in history this was, this may have been reference to tobacco chewing, which is a particularly gross kind of spitting. Parents, please be sure your daughters are not participating in the new trend of skirts showing the ankles. Yeah, this is pretty old.
Oof, those ankles.
I do not think we need to remind you of the road of brimstone this temporary fashion trend will lead your dear daughters down. I have been witnessing more and more teenage girls coming into our town on a Saturday night, unchaperoned, using vulgar slang terms, certainly unfit for me to print here, and blocking the sidewalks by walking arm in arm. They are loud and also flirt with boys unabashedly while smoking cigarettes. These young ladies need to be stopped before our young ladies get any ideas, or our boys fall in love with the wrong girl.
Those eugenics.
Young men have been seen around Possum Springs engaging in the ridiculous behavior of wearing mismatched patterns in their suits. My goodness, mismatched patterns? Hell in a handbasket. This type of outfit may be all the rage in Bright Harbor, but good luck getting any respectable businessman around here to employ you. You all look like rabid clowns. I'll admit, that last one is good.
It speaks to you on a personal level.
Councilman Puchinskaya's plan for Third Street is a joke. What else is there to say? What a load of clowns.
How does it keep up with the news like that?
Don't praise the machine. Strange but True, A Tale of Teeth. Strange but True is our ongoing series about the weird and forgotten aspects of Deep Hollow County history and culture, published weekly. Bad bosses figure heavily into Possum Springs history, and pretty much all history.
We're a mining town, so it fits.
I mean, if you can't trust the mining bosses to take care of their employees, then who can you trust?
I mean, you've heard the story about one recent American boss who won that there was a mine act, and not only was he telling the press, like 10 minutes later, that it was an earthquake, had nothing to do with faulty mining practice, but then he was yelling at the family to stick to that line. While they were grieving and were like, do you have any word of our dead family members?
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Bosses are scum. The story, where was I? The story goes, in 1870, A local mine boss was skimming workers on their pay. A group of miners confronted him while he was in the act. He denied everything, with many a slur, and punched the miners' leader, Daniel Glace, in the face, causing him to lose his last remaining tooth. The miners knew how much Danny's tooth meant to him, and they descended on the boss. A few held the boss down, while others removed all of his teeth with pliers.
Fun.
The teeth were passed out to the miners, and a secret society was created with a vow to protect the workers' interests. Membership was based on owning one of these teeth, and each was marked with a symbol of their choosing. These symbols were used around the coal patch to organize meetings and make announcements. The boss survived his attack, but never named his attackers for fear of implicating himself. Wynn died a few years later.
And
That is-
there's a he in there.
Yeah, that is incorrect. Members dug up his grave to retrieve his skull. It was used in ceremonies performed before going out for retribution. All would gather around, place teeth into sockets, and later retrieve their tooth after the retribution was completed. Upon a member's death, their tooth would be passed to a new member. Teeth of members in jail would be left in their sockets until their fates were decided. After the strike of 1889, the society dwindled. Occasionally, a descendant of one of these men will find a tooth with strange markings in their home. Strange, but true!
I wonder if that's the tooth we found in the safe?
Shit.
I mean, we know that our
That's
friend...
gotta be right.
I mean, we
I
know
forgot about that.
I mean, it was his tooth in a safe in
It
the
was a tooth in a
basement.
safe. I can't think of any explanation for that.
Yep.
Deep Hollow County mourns. The final group of bodies from the 1888 explosion have been recovered 2 days shy of the 1-year anniversary of the tragedy. These 5 men bring the total dead count to 112.
Ooh.
That's a lot. 2 of the men, Addison Pine and Henry Harvey, were the ones who set off the explosion. Although mine bosses had been informed that gas pockets were present in that section, they elected to not inform Pine and Harvey of the possible danger. The other 3 bodies belonged to Peter Bledsoe, Christian Stanoff, and Peter Elijah?
You can move the thing to get it better.
That's not helping, Philippa. I don't understand how to put the J, the T, and the H together all in one go there. Lash's funeral arrangements will be handled by Father Litters, as the man's widow has since returned to Hungary with his 2 orphans. It's a Hungarian name. Ghostly rumors haunt New Historical Society. Possum Springs Historical Society's conversion of the Schreigeist House into its new headquarters and education center has hit a snag. Custodial head Jed Newsom. Yup, I'm sorry if that's your name. Can't pronounce it. Has resigned, citing strange occurrences in the old manor.
That looks like a U, so Newsom?
Jed Newsom. Is that what I said? What'd I say?
Newsom, I think.
No, I was using a U there.
Okay. I must have misheard. Somebody is watching us now. Read out these stories.
So, we're doing some microfiche. It's the hypest Twitch gameplay you'll ever will see.
Microfiche!
Microfiche. I'd be there after hours doing my work, and I'd hear someone walking around trying doorknobs. I came out to see who was fallen, but there was never nobody there, said Newsom. Trying to get this map room operational for the children all the while I'm looking over my shoulder expecting to see G-D knows what. Excuse me.
GD knows what,
Yeah.
indeed.
I can't imagine what that word was meant to be. Mr. Newsom had previously requested to work only daylight hours when other staff were present in the building, but even that proved to be too terrifying. I don't go to the off-limits area anymore. I don't go up past the 2nd floor, and then I only go to the office. I know the others laugh, say I'm seeing Little Joe or something, but they can all go spit. Little Joe, for the uninitiated, was a local ghost story popular some years ago. Possum Springs Historical Society has refused to comment on Mr. Newsom's claims at the time. So let's see.
I think they were all sideways.
Yeah, we did that one. We did that one. Oh yeah, we're near the bottom now, so this must be...
Oh.
Okay, we've seen them all, I think. We did this like methodically, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we have.
Thought you said it was meant to cut me off at some stage.
Well, I thought it would when you found the 3rd ghost story. But I guess not.
I'm gonna hold escape here and see if that did it. Oh, fuck. That's not what I wanted.
No!
Better not fucking boot us back to where we were. Swear to God. God damn it! I'm
I'm sorry.
boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
But at the very least, you've now read the entire set of stories.
Yeah, and now I've walked through this library 3 times.
You know the ghosts say things happen in threes.
Isn't it meant to be good things happening in trees?
Lots of things happen in threes.
Uh,
Good, bad, and otherwise.
then what's the point even?
Okay, so the ones I'm remembering are the teeth, the massacre, and the one we just read, which was the, is that right? No.
Look, I'll go through all of them. I thought I could press escape to get out of the
Microfiche.
yeah, but no.
Yeesh.
It was like hold escape, and I was like, okay, no, that was a trap. Now we're back in this screen. Goddamn. Such
Just
as
slam B between the stacks, it's fine. Sure you don't want to go back on to level 2 and enjoy the thrilling ride of Charity Barity, the Pink Nightmarity?
anyone who wants to do that, we already did it. It's in the VODs.
Yep.
Check my YouTube channel, it's linked below.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just mash through this shit.
Yep. Whee. But yeah, like, I wonder if there's actually a symbol on the tooth if we look at the thing
Okay.
again. So no, just hover over the 3 ones then.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try something out once I can actually fucking...
Yep. Once you're allowed to dream.
Okay, so... Okay, so they can comment on these articles.
This is interesting.
This is interesting, but, yeah, not exactly about a ghost. Okay. So I wonder if they... No ghosts to be found here. The way you say ghost makes it sounds like you don't believe me. Okay, so we do have to go to the ghost stories. Fortunately, I think they're like conveniently color-coded. Ooh, look! Scooch so I can see. Graveyard, that's a gimme. I mean, if you're looking for ghost stuff, that's where they make a lot of them. Looks like they saw them in the old section. Oh cool, that's where his grave is. I'm actually interested in that. How could you not be interested? This is like actual dangerous ghost stuff.
I want to see what
I
they
like
say
history.
about the
Ghosts are history. History that won't say history. That's actually pretty good.
what do they say about the pie story?
Alright, we're gonna go to the pie piracy. This one. No ghost!
No comment on the pie piracy? I am saddened.
I feel as though they did not put in a custom one for each of these.
I am... But it's pie
I'm
piracy!
gonna click on the underground gases though. Okay.
No ghost.
B doesn't have snarky remark. Snarky remarky about the gas. Hey, look at this. Yeah. Looks like Possum Jump? Let me read it. It's Possum Jump. Oh yeah, that's back up in State Park, right? Yeah. Ever been out there? Nope. Gonna check it out though. Go nuts. Okay, so that's 2. Now, did we have one around here? I don't think the massacre. I honestly think that all of the, like, I'm gonna click on this one because we've found the tooth. Just to see. Oh wow, this is gnarly. And awesome. Oh my god.
Okay. Oh, was it that one?
This is it. This is one. Hey. Ghost spotted. Historical Society. History that wants to say history. In a history place. History place? Yeah, I've never been. You didn't go back in school? I think this was when I wasn't in school.
Ah.
Oh, after the softball incident. Yeah, mostly just watched TV and did therapy. Well, that's actually a pretty cool old house. Used to be owned by one of the mine owners or something. Railroad, mine, steel mill, something like that. An actual haunted house. No. Elementary school kids are in there all the time. They have, like, summer arts and crafts programs. Oh, well, still worth checking out. Okay, well, that's like 3 leads. Let's boogie. Okay.
That's
Let's
what
boogie.
I was remembering.
Also, is that it? Yeah. 3 clues. We got 3 leads. You're a regular detective. Mae Borowski, a detective of ghosts. Alright, let's go. So they actually wouldn't have booted me if I'd have found them. I could have just, like, been fucking around. So we got some leads. Can I borrow your car this week? Do you even have a license? I mean, no, regardless, but do you? Nope. No license, no credit cards, don't believe in money. You just believe in other people's cards and money. I didn't choose to be born into the society.
It's true.
Okay, well, I have, a job, so I can't drive you around to all these spots. I can maybe do the graveyard. I need to go there anyway. Cool, let's see if Greg wants to do the other two. And I probably don't have to say this, but just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again. Hey nerd, ever hear that history repeats? It does. It does the same thing over and over again. So we've just been in a loop since we were living in caves? Yeah, that's science. Oh my freaking god.
It's true.
Alright, going down, motherfuckers. Or up?
You were on the first floor.
Were we on the first floor?
Yeah, that was the entranceway. You could tell because of the mural.
I thought we were back where we, logically would be.
No, logic doesn't play a part here. We're looking for ghosts, Daniel. Oh no. Is it the Killjoy Squad?
No, it's just Selma's and some guys.
Cool.
Ahem. What is that Miss Quelsey? Oh wow, I haven't seen her since graduation. She was always kind of a badass. School district did not fund that art program at all, but she made it work. She was like some sort of art teacher survivalist. Wow, I never realized. I think they pay her in bits of string and empty soda cans. Thank you all for coming to the second meeting of the Possum Springs Poetry Society. Oh yeah, there's a river poet there too.
Dear guy?
Do you want to stick around for this?
Dear Fisher?
Yeah. Tonight we have new poems from myself and Fisherman Jones and Selma Ann Forrester. I will start us off with one of my own. Some big city, right? They don't actually pay her in string, right? Yeah. How'd she end up here? Who knows? Ahem. Letter to my worst student. To my worst student, the subject of my stories. I tell friends back home, when they ask about life, out here in the sticks, it's you. I worry. At the end of my life, you'll be the only one I remember. Why did you key my car? I know it was you, Brian. Okay, I thought he was just talking about me for a bit.
Me too.
Thanks, everyone. Is that legal? Poem was Quelsey. At least she's blowing off some steam. Next up, Fisherman Jones. Fisherman Jones is a poem for us. Two poems. They're short, though. Two poems, take it away. Hi, folks, thanks. This is called Tunnel Eels. Tunnel Eels. Tunnel Eels. I do not know how it feels to be in darkness all the time, born in muck and raised in slime, but neither do you know paths I've trudged, so it hardly is your place to judge. Okay, that's one poem. The next one is shorter. This is called Tunnel Frogs. Tunnel Frog swims in the dark. Must think it would be a lark to be a fisherman like me, but what do you know, amphibie? That's it.
You're weird, man.
That's great. Thank you, Fisherman Jones. Dude is really worried about what fish think. He definitely talks to the actual fish. Dude is really worried about what fish think.
I was gonna say he talks to fish, but that's me.
That tunnel always spooks me. Finally, a poem by Selma Ann Forrester. Yay, Selmas! Thanks, May. You know her? Dude, she's like your neighbor. Oh. She writes these really funny, dorky short poems. I'm up for something short and funny. This is called There's No Reception in Possum Springs. She's not wrong. No reception here. I wave my black phone. In the ear, like a flare, like a prayer, but no reception. I read on the internet, babyface boy billionaire. Phone apps sold made more money in one day than my family in over 100 generations.
Oof.
More than my whole world ever has. World where house-buying jobs became rent-paying jobs, became living with family jobs. Boy billionaires. Money is access to politicians waiting for us to die. Lead in our water, alcohol, and painkillers. Replace my job with an app, replace my dreams of a house and a yard, with a couch in the basement. The future is yours, for 24/7 entrepreneurs. I just want a paycheck and my own life. I'm on the couch in the basement, there in the house and the yard. Some night I will catch a bus out to the west coast and burn this Silicon City to the ground.
Too real!
Holy shit.
Too real!
Wow, damn. She rhymed entrepreneur. I don't even know what that word means. Thanks, everyone. Is she always like this? No. Wow. Huh. Thanks, everyone. See you in 2 weeks. Hey, Summers. What? I liked your weird poem. Thanks, I wrote it myself. Wait, was the assumption that she didn't write it herself? Nice work, Don't like that nickname. What are you two? Sorry. It's cool. Can we go now? Oh, I got an achievement for listening to poetry. That's the kind of achievement I can get. Okay, thanks for coming. We live here. Right, so, find out anything about your ghost? Yeah.
Look at that.
Tell him, B.
Look at that enthusiasm.
There were some newspaper clippings that talked about a ghost. Not just any ghost, Little Joe. I don't really remember Little Joe. He's a ghost miner. He died in mysterious circumstances. Wow.
Mysterious.
Can die of mysterious.
You can.
I know, right? Mysterious. I thought you were, like, afraid of this ghost. Like, filled with, like, dread and shit. I'm terrified. Okay.
She's so enthusiastic.
So I mentioned 3 different places we can all check out. I have work and stuff. Yeah, Greg and I also have work. You guys skip out on work all the time. Maybe we can, like, split this up. Share custody of you and your ghost. What places were you thinking about? The graveyard? I call that one. It's close and not illegal. Is there an illegal one?
Look at how
Sure is. The Historical Society. You know you don't have to, like, break in. The people there, like, get paid to show it to you.